Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador Tan. At the close of this, the second year of our wonderful collaboration, it seems appropriate to reflect briefly on what made the concept of the Ertegun Jazz Series so appealing to jazz at Lincoln Center. And when I say briefly, I do really mean briefly. Aside from a compelling backstory, as you've heard, this house, teenage boys, their clandestine trips across town to hear jazz. Well, we shouldn't forget through the romance that story and the history of this house is indelibly connected to the history of race relations in this country, and that's an important thing to note. However, when the ambassador approached jazz at Lincoln Center, one of the focuses that we had was in honoring a founding board member of our organization. As you can see from the video, Wynton Marsalis, our artistic director, and Ermit were very close friends. And not only Ahmed, as a founding member, who really helped get Jazz at Lincoln Center started, but also his brother Neswi, who so well ran the jazz department at Atlantic Records for many years. Let us not forget his contribution. And of course, Mika, who is still a wonderful board member of Jazz at Lincoln Center, made this just appropriate for us. This is Jazz at Lincoln Center's 25th anniversary season. And I'll do the math for you, that's 1987. And I think that you will agree that the face of jazz in this country has changed a lot in those 25 years. I'm not sure what that history means to you. For us, we're still here. We're still going strong. Jazz is strong. We have this series. And personally, I like to think that there's, on the sound system at the White House, there's a lot more jazz being played now than there was back in 1987. Maybe my imagination, but I hope it's true. And in this, our 25th anniversary year, one of the great things about this series is that it is a continuation of our own contribution to jazz cultural diplomacy. We have a renowned jazz orchestra, the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra, which every year travels the world for weeks at a time, bringing what I like to think of the joy of jazz to the world. We get a lot of great feedback from our orchestra. And I'd like to point out, in case you haven't read your program, that the piano chair of our jazz orchestra, Dan Nimmer, is also the head of the piano trio this evening. So it's really wonderful to have a member of our jazz orchestra supporting Cecile's performance this evening. In addition, for 6 years, we partnered with the US Department of State to run what I like to think of as an extremely successful program, the American Music Abroad program. We dubbed it the Rhythm Road, and I was just commenting earlier at the reception that I still miss some of the dispatches from the field. We sent musicians to something like 96 different countries, and I have to say that over those 6 years, it became very clear to me that not only were we bringing generosity of spirit and great music and cultural exchange to those countries, but without a doubt, every single musician who participated, their life was changed too. They came back with the most incredible stories and new music and new rhythms, and something that was so fulfilling for them. And in many cases, they were Americans who hadn't traveled abroad that much. So this was an incredible opportunity. So that being said, I think that this is the second year. I've only just found out that it's continuing into a third year, and I'm thrilled. And I'd like to thank the Coca-Cola Company, with whom we have a very rewarding relationship. I look forward, and I hope that you look forward to many more evenings such as this at the embassy, at the ambassador's residence. Thank you very much.